Hello guys, you're warmly welcome to once again Joshua Okwuwe Online Maths. In this video, we'll be introducing us to the concept of bearing and distance. Bearing and distance. Now, before we think of answering question under bearing and distance, there are some key things that we need to actually understand, some key words and what they mean and how we can apply them under this topic. This is what I will be going through with us in this video. Under bearing and distance, there are certain words that you hear of, like off, from. What do these words mean? How do you differentiate them? How do you answer questions associated with them? For instance, they tell you that the bearing of a distance, maybe bearing of A from B is 0.65. Now, first thing for us, we need to know our quadrants. Our quadrant, you know, we have the 4 quadrants like this. The first part you're seeing here is what, 90. So if there is any bearing that is between 0 to 90, it's going to fall in this very quadrant. Then from there we have this one, 180. So if for example you have anything between 1 to 180 or 179, it's going to fall in between this part. Now we have what from here to this point here, that is another 90 again, giving us what? 270. So if for instance you have, say, bearing of a distance is 0, maybe the first time you say the bearing of a distance is 205 degrees. Okay, so that means that the bearing is going to be what? Going to fall on this quadrant. And if you happen that it's maybe like 310, then that means it's going to fall on what? On this quadrant. And that's why you say that the angle at a point is equals to what? 360 degrees. So first thing, we need to know where our bearing ought to be based on the question we are having. Okay, so if you're having between 0 to what? To 89, it's going to fall in here. And then you're having between maybe 91 to 179 is going to fall in here. We have between what? 181 to 269 is going to fall in here, and then maybe having from 271 to what? To 259 to 259 is going to fall in this quadrant. So that is the first thing we need to get to first. Now another thing again is this. For instance, you see a question like this that says that if let's say if the bearing of A from B is let's say 35 degrees. If the bearing of A from B is what? 35 degrees. Now the question can come in different form. What is the bearing of what? They can ask you, what is the bearing of B from A? Now what is the bearing of what? Of B from A. What is the bearing of B from A? If the bearing of A from B is 35 degrees, what is the bearing of B from A? Now, when you see a question like what does it mean? We need to understand what is off and what and from. These are the two key words we want to do what? Identify. Now, we have our first thing you must do is to do what? We'll draw this. Okay? If the bearing of A from B, so let's say this is going to be what? B, because it's from this point here. From this point. That means that A is somewhere X. So with the bearing, we're going to, that bearing is going to lead us to where? To the direction of what? To wherever A is. So you say the bearing of A from B, this is from B here, is what? 35. So since it's 35 degrees, that means it's going to fall in what? In this quadrant. So you can see that this is what? 35 degrees like this. So this is what? 35 degrees or 0.35 degrees. This is A here. So this means that what? The bearing of A from B is what? The bearing of A from B is what? Is 35 degrees. Now look at the next question. That says, what is the bearing of B now? What is the bearing of B from, do you see it now? From A. A. That means from here. What is the bearing of B from A? So that means that we are going to calculate, or this is what we are going to look for. We're going to look for all this angle here. The whole of this angle is the bearing of what? Is the bearing of B from A. Okay? Now, since we know that this first quadrant here is what? This is 90. From here to here is also what? 90. Now, we're going to get what? The value of this. So once we get the value of this remaining angle here, we'll add it to 90 plus 90. Now, remember when we're talking about lines and transversals, we talked about alternate angles. Alternate angle, okay? Alternate angle. So if you look at this angle here is alternate to this particular angle we are seeing here. That means that if this place is 35, that means that this angle also is what? Is 35 degrees. This angle is alternate to this angle here. Okay? So can I say therefore the bearing of what? Of the bearing of B from A is equals to what? Is equals to 90 plus 90 plus 35, or you can say 180 plus 35. 90 plus 90 plus 35. So that is equals to what? 180 plus 35. That will give us what? 215 degrees. That means that the bearing of B from A is what? 215 degrees. So again, what is the first thing we need to know here? The meaning of and from. When they say what is the bearing of this point from another point, that means we're calculating, our attention is what? Is on that very from. Okay? Where the story starts from, or where the journey starts from. Is that clear? So please, this understanding will help us to do what? To be able to answer any question under bearing and distance under this very topic, because we'll be answering so many questions. Okay, watch out for more videos under this topic, as we will now be applying this now to answer questions under this topic. I won't end this video without first reminding us again that another key thing again we need under this topic is also formulas, the basic formulas that we need. The basic ones are what? You use of what? Your cosine rule, and then your sine rule, or cosine formula and the sine formula. If you don't know how to apply the cosine formula or the sine formula to calculate the sides or the angles of a triangle, please, I will encourage you to check our videos. Check our video, we have explained it and we've uploaded good videos on that. Full explanation on how you can apply cosine rule and sine rule to do what? To calculate the side or to find the sides and the angles of a triangle. We will be also applying that formula also under bearing and distance. So apart from knowing the meaning of, to, of this, from this, just like what you are seeing here, the bearing of A from B, and the bearing of B from A. Apart from understanding the meaning of this of and from here, you also need to also do what? Have a very good understanding of sine formula and cosine formula. Please watch this video over and over again. Watch this introduction video under this very topic, bearing and distance. Watch this video and then check out our video under sine and cosine rule. Once you are grounded with this and you understand this perfectly well, I will assure you that there's nothing under bearing and distance that you will not be able to answer, because bearing and distance remains one of the simplest topics in mathematics. I assure you, you will enjoy them. Please watch out for more of our videos under this topic. Once again, thank you so much for always visiting my channel. And if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to please subscribe to this channel. Subscription is actually free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Just click the subscription button so that whenever I upload new content like this, you'll be notified of them. Once again, thank you so much. Bye bye for now.